Greetings, vac fans. Fresh out of my upstairs bathtub, we have this Shark NV22, and it's a little cleaner, so I guess it's a little bit cleaner of a wreck, I suppose. So I think I have everything refitted, and I don't know if you can really see that well. I couldn't see through this piece of plastic. It's still a little cloudy. But the neat thing is, take a look at that. How about that for a recovered brush roll? But the most important thing is, let's see how it sounds now. Redid the bearings, cleaned everything up. All the filters have been washed, put back in. See, you even have the little green light. I don't know if you can see that or not. So, not too bad. Seems like maybe I've restored a vacuum or two in my life, I guess. And let's take a look at what kind of airflow we're getting from this thing. And for right now, I'm just going to do from this tube, and we're going to remove all these filters one at a time, and then even the cyclones, and I can show you just how much air loss you get from a bagless machine. Now I will show you one thing. Right here, it seems to be that the most typical problem with this machine are its wheels. And these wheels, I'm not sure if they're the factory original. Somebody just kind of put something in there, but they're not the right size, and even if they were, they seem to be worn down, and it's pretty bad on both sides. And an interesting problem that I have on this medium pile carpet when I first started to run this was this power nozzle head. Whether or not the brush roll is on doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It literally sucks itself right to the carpet. So this front of the power nozzle is down too low. It needs to be lifted up just a little bit. To that end, I have ordered a new set of wheels, and they may be here Thursday or Friday, and I'll start doing some more formal tests once I can replace these, because right now this rug plate is actually very flat. Even though it's got a couple of bumps here and whatnot, when you go and put it on my medium pile carpet, and this carpet right here doesn't have a pad underneath it, and I tried it upstairs where I do have a pad, and it doesn't make any difference. The head just literally vacuums itself, literally just sucks itself right down to the carpet, makes it very difficult to push. Not impossible, but unusable. And it's because the wheels aren't pushing the front end up as high as they need to be. So I won't have any formal tests for, I don't know, maybe the next 5 or 6 days until new wheels come in. So let's take a look and see how things came out. You see what it originally looked like, especially in the tub. And here's cyclones. Now there's going to be staining. I mean, it's hard really to get the staining out, but it really is tremendously cleaner than when it was before, to be sure. I mean, you saw all the gunk come out. The seals are in pretty good shape. I need to fiddle with this bottom seal just a little bit, but it's working. And I have vacuumed a little bit with it, and it actually works. So here it is, and maybe it's a 2010, maybe it's a 2012, but it's pretty much all still good. It needs a little TLC, but it works. And then here's the result of fully dried filters. And by the way, I looked in the manual, and it says, even though your filters will discolor, they will turn this color, it turns out that they will still be usable. They're just, I don't know if you want to call it stained or discolored. And then here's this little felt thing down here. This, of course, looks terrible, but I've dried it out for 2 days. Works pretty well. And the little felt filter down here, even though it's clean, it still looks terrible. So I'll probably go and order another set of filters just because I don't like things looking that bad, even though I've got the ability to measure it. And if you're new to my channel, this is not the only measuring gauge I have. I've got an anemometer that you've seen in other videos, or that you will see in other videos if you happen to go take a peek. And I can get really precise measurements. This is just something that's easy to show you, and it's easy to understand, because a long time ago, a couple years ago, I translated all these little numbers into this chart right here. So, and this is available on Vacuum Land. I did this a little while back, but you see that a 1, a 3, a 5, 6, 8, 10, whatever it is, corresponds to actual CFM or airflow. All right, so let's take the hose off here. Oh, and the vacuum smells very nice now. So no more stink, everything's in good shape. And I was very happy at how the brush roll turned out. So it's not quite like brand new. The bristles aren't as perfect as they could be, but considering how beat up this thing was, we're in pretty good shape. All right, so let's see. I need to try to get the best angle here. I guess I'll probably end up showing it like this. Well, no, maybe I'll show it something like this on the side. All right, so I'm just going to turn on the airflow. All the filters are in, and then we're going to take all the filters out and see what happens. And I'll see if I can't translate this stuff on the fly with my chart. Okay, here we go. All right, we're looking at, okay, I'll turn it this way. There we go, that'll be easier. All right, so we're at a 2. Hope you can see that. Well, there you go. We're at about a 2. Oh, 2.5. Okay, a 2.5 is about 65 CFM. All right, so it peaked at about 2.5, and of course my hose is bent and whatnot, so I'm just going to try to be as consistent as possible with this. You have to use the barometer level. So 2.5 is about 65 CFM, and remember that CFM would probably be around right here. So I'm going to guess the CFM from the nozzle, when I get a chance to put it on my airflow box, might be in the low to mid 50s, which is really pretty typical for a bagless system. All right, so let's see, what do we take out first? Let's take out all these pre-motor filters, all of them right here. And let's go measure it again and see what happens. One of these days I'll figure it almost looks like it should go back this way. It feels like it needs to go in that way, but it can't. All right, let's see what happens now. All right, not much change really. I'm not seeing a whole lot of change. So these filters, by taking them all out, they must be in pretty decent shape, because I think I was getting about a 3. And the difference between a 2.5 and a 3 isn't that much. You're talking about 2 or 3 CFM. Really, that's it. So if I were to guess, without measuring them individually, this might be about a 1 CFM loss in its current condition. This might be about a 1 CFM loss, and this would also probably be about a 1 CFM loss on average, mathematically speaking. So that means even though these look terrible, and I haven't tested these, I've got a particle counter to see if they're still doing well from a particle standpoint. From an airflow standpoint, these are practically like new, even though they look really bad. All right, so say we're peaking at a 3. Let's go and take the cyclone assembly out. And let's see what it does. So now we have no filters and no cyclone. And don't run it like this. That's not what I mean. I just want to see the airflow restriction. Look at that. Let's see, can you see that? I'm looking at a 6, maybe a 6.5. That's 6.5 right now. Wow. And a 6.5 is about 95 CFM. So this has got a pretty good motor in it. And previously, with my Marshalltown suction gauge and everything not being in that great a shape, I was getting like mid-90s, and it's probably going to be higher than that, but I don't want to test that just yet. So, wow. We went from 2.5 with everything in, and then we removed this, and we went to a 3. We removed this guy, and we went to, man, a 6.5. That's, yeah, geez. Okay, well, you know, so we're looking at, let's say, I'm just going to round number, say 70, and we're looking at probably about a 25 CFM loss. So this is responsible for about 25 CFM loss. And that's actually pretty comparable to Dyson and probably other Sharks. That's to be expected. Too bad we can't get that kind of airflow all the time, but that's what a bagless system does. And this is only responsible for about a 3 CFM loss. So that's tremendous. This right here, I tell you, I pre-tested it, and on the Baird meter, I couldn't really tell much of a difference at all. It might be like a 1 CFM loss, even in this condition. So that's really something. All right, I'm going to put everything back in, and then how about a little quick pickup with some rice? And what else do I have here? I got some flour, and I got some oats. And I'll do more tests when I get the wheels. So these aren't going to be formal tests. This is just kind of like an initial run. I'm still kind of fiddling with the machine a bit, figuring out how everything works. Make sure that's tight. So I tend to put it on backwards. Put some stuff down on the carpet, see what happens. And I have not vacuumed anything up yet, so I have no idea how it's going to be. Not a clue. So there's some rice. I'll put some flour behind it. And I'll put some oats in front of it. All right, so there's our carpet soup. And I'll have to look back at vacuum tests, otherwise known as Miko, at his particular Baird tests to see if this one is comparable. All right, I think I got everything back together again. Let's give it a whirl. Well, got a lot of the flour up. A little spot right here, which is still a little white. I think I missed the oats there. But it did some snow plowing right there. Nice little pile right there, and it just snow plowed it. So I hope you saw that. And I think that's probably because the head is, I'll move the camera back a bit. That's because the head is digging down too much into the carpet. Let me see if I can pick the rest of that up. spot right here, and it just dumped a little bit of rice back out. Move my camera back again here. That's kind of funny. I lifted the nozzle up and it just kind of dumped the rice back out. So what can I say? Here's a, I don't know, 5, 6, 7-year-old machine. Restored, still works. Obviously it was beaten up very badly. And let's see what made it into the bin. So there it is, dumped back out. Here's the inside. Some of these spots right here, like this long tube, and this is an empty tube, and this is a tube as well with airflow going through it. It's a little hard to clean. I have to take like a paper towel and jam it up there. And then look how this starts to dirty right in here. I mean, you can't really get to that. You've got to stick something else up in there. It doesn't really come out. Just kind of awkward. So let's see. Let's check the cyclones. Anything looks like it's getting stuck in the cyclones. Well, that'd be a good indication if there was anything up there, especially since I vacuumed up some white. I don't really see anything. And no, doesn't appear to be any fine dust in there. Nothing blew back in my face. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it works. It's weird, but it works. Let's check the filters. I'm not expecting anything really. And these don't have anything on them. I mean, if there was any white, I think I'd see something in there. No dust coming out. Nothing in this thing. So, hey, it works. So as soon as I have the new wheels that come in for this, you'll see a whole house vacuuming. Can't wait to do it. That'll be a lot of fun, and I might even try to use some of the attachments that I showed you earlier. So a really beaten up, maybe half left for dead machine with everything totally clogged. I mean, you see the big piles of stuff that came out in the tub water, and it's back together again. It still has a good tight fit. I'm not losing any suction anywhere, so this is fairly well made. And let me know in the comments, I wonder, is this the original Shark? Is this the first Shark that was sold in the United States? Is, 2010, 2011, 2012 the very first year that Shark actually had some kind of market presence in the US? So kind of neat to actually get this machine. Like I mentioned before, I did it for, it was $15 plus tax at a local thrift store in the Columbus, Ohio area. So I've got to pay about $13 to get a pair of new wheels. And I don't know, I'd probably get another set of filters, but obviously they're doing a good job filtering. So it would be somewhat of an optional thing. Even though they look terrible, they continue to work. So thanks so much. Until next time, happy vacuuming.